Saca la cabeza, muchacha.
We're surrounded. We're surrounded by zebras. Oh, hey yo, what up everyone? My name is XAVE, and this spring break we skipped the resorts and beaches and decided to rent a car to road trip through Virginia to explore all of the beautiful nature in the state.
Let's get started.
From exploring caverns to seeing wild ponies, we really wanted to see everything that Virginia had to offer. So before driving deep into the South, our first stop was in Washington, D.C. to check out this immersive art exhibit. Yo, so first stop on the trip, we're here in Washington, D.C. at Artechhouse, a really cool interactive art exhibit where they do different exhibits. This one is the Pixel Bloom. So they do a lot of stuff with the cherry blossoms because it's cherry blossom season right now in Washington, D.C. And
Butterflies everywhere.
there are butterflies everywhere. As you can tell, it's a lot of really cool, like Instagrammable stuff. A lot of noise, but it's really peaceful and it's really cool. All right, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, but I have a pretty tough time at some museums that just don't seem to keep my attention for very long, but that's definitely not a problem at Artechhouse. Artechhouse is a unique space that combines art and technology to create a one-of-a-kind immersive experience that incentivizes you to interact with the space. The art on display will depend on when and where you go. Artechhouse's space is located in a few different cities, so I got to check out the one in Washington, D.C. while I was there, and I got to explore a variety of interactive installations and play with some really fun augmented reality. Currently on display in D.C. is the exhibit Pixel Bloom, Timeless Butterflies, which invites you to step into a virtual world of cherry blossoms, butterflies, and nature. A kaleidoscope of butterflies are awoken from their winter slumber and pixels burst into full bloom, all in celebration of the coming of spring. Leveraging custom technologies, Artechhouse Studio has created several rooms with light projections that respond to body movements. Tickets at the DC location range from $17 to $25 if you want a timed entry slot, $30 for an anytime ticket, and lastly $33 for the date package, which includes admission plus a drink at their bar. I bought the date package and was not disappointed. The drinks are delicious, cleverly named, and there's more AR to play with while you drink and watch the art. So what did you just order?
I ordered Metamorphosis,
And what's in it?
which is, it said it's on the sweet side. It has miso barley, choju, I don't know if I'm reading this right. Juzu liquor, which is the liquor in there. Lime juice, Japanese, I don't know, syrup, toasted rice, and matcha foam, and that's why I ordered that because of the matcha.
So the cool thing about this place is it has a bar. We bought the package that includes 2 cocktails. So now we get to just sit up here. This is right behind us and we're just chilling at the bar. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wish I had ordered the Metamorphosis drink that she ordered. It's really, really good. I'm tempted to drink it all, but she likes it too. I was hoping maybe she wouldn't like it, but she loves it. So now I can't take hers. It's so good. Hey.
Give me.
Overall, my time at Artechhouse was a really cool and unique experience, and if you're ever in Washington, D.C., I highly recommend checking it out for yourself. Trust me, you will not regret it. After we left, we rode around DC for a little and saw some of the sights before stumbling upon a little Ethiopian restaurant. Now, I'd never tried Ethiopian food, but I never need an excuse to experience a new culture. The restaurant had a cozy atmosphere and we were able to get a table right away where we could admire the beautiful art on the wall. I wasn't sure what to order, so I asked for a recommendation on Ethiopian beers, and we were told that we should try the family meat and veggie special that would be good to split between 2 people. But then the food arrived with no silverware. It turns out that you eat everything with your hands. All of the veggies and meat come on top of the injera, which is a spongy and slightly sour flatbread that's used as a utensil to scoop up the stews. The stews were full of flavor and the beef was nice and tender. I was honestly really impressed by how filling the dish was. At first I thought I was going to need to order more, but we ended up taking a lot of leftovers for the next day. Ethiopian cuisine is known for being quite healthy, and I can definitely see why. The stews are packed with vegetables and the injera is made from teff flour, which is high in protein and gluten-free. It was a great experience trying Ethiopian food for the first time, and the restaurant staff was very friendly and the food was delicious. Cheers. Yo, good morning. So day two, we woke up a little bit later than we wanted to, but not too bad. We only got like an hour, 50 minutes till we get to the Shenandoah National Park. Yesterday was all about the city vibes, Washington, D.C., and now it's time to get into some hiking and some nature. Here we are, driving. It's raining. Hopefully it doesn't rain all day. and we can get some hiking done because goddamn, it's a lot of rain.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to change plans.
There'll be a change of plans, but we have a backup plan. We'll go to the Luray Caverns, and I don't know, maybe the caverns will overflow with water since we're underground and we'll die. We have made it to the first overlook in Shenandoah Park. Just entered. It's about $30 for a private vehicle to get into the park, at least through one of the 4 stations that we read online. And damn, this overlook is really, really cool. So Shenandoah National Park is huge, and there's really a lot of cool nature that you could see. You could easily spend a whole week exploring this area. So if you're gonna spend a lot of time here, the $30 weekly pass per vehicle really isn't that bad. But unfortunately for us, we're only going to be in the area for a night before we had to keep driving south. The rain continued, so we only got to explore a very small hiking trail before we decided to head to the Luray Caverns so we didn't feel like we wasted the day due to bad weather. But let me tell you, I am so happy that we chose to head to Luray because there is so much to do there that I wish we actually had more time to explore it. Luray Caverns is a limestone cave system that was discovered in 1878. It's located in the Shenandoah Valley and it's been attracting visitors from all over the world ever since. The price of admission is $32 for adults and includes a guided tour of the caverns as well as access to other attractions on the premise. This includes the Car and Carriage Caravan Museum, Shenandoah Heritage Village, and the Toy Town Junction. I've only been on one other cavern tour, but what made this one so special is that it's self-guided, so you have a lot of freedom to just roam around and explore the stunning rock formations at your own pace. The first chamber is called the Cathedral, and it's one of the largest rooms in the cavern. The towering columns create an awe-inspiring atmosphere that's hard to describe in words. As you walk through, you'll come across the Dream Lake, a crystal clear body of water that reflects the ceiling like a mirror. It's a surreal experience to see the stalactites and stalagmites reflected in the water like that. The scale of these formations blows my mind. It's hard to believe that they were created by the slow drip of water over millions of years. Look at this, the cave is just huge. Every time we think it's over, there's another stop. And it's just so beautiful, look at that. Next up, we headed to the garden maze, which was not included in the general admission and cost an additional $10. As I stepped into the maze, I was immediately surrounded by towering green hedges, and I instantly had the desire to just run around and get lost. The winding paths invite you to explore and look for clues set up by the park. When you get to the center, right here, you get to a fountain. This is how you know you're at the center and you're almost at the goal 4 and the exit. Next up, we headed over to the Car and Carriage Caravan Museum, which hosts a fascinating collection of vintage cars, carriages, and other modes of transportation from a bygone era. The collection is really impressive, with over 140 vehicles on display, from horse-drawn carriages and wagons to classic cars and motorcycles. It's really hard to imagine traveling in one of these. Just imagine pulling up to your shorty's crib like, "Hey yo, hoppeth in thy carriage, my lady." Look how fly he looks. Pulling up in the all yellow whip with the fur drip. Oh my god. Next up is the Toy Town Junction, an elaborate display of miniature trains and towns. There's a big miniature town complete with buildings, cars, and even tiny people going about their day right in the center of the room. The attention to detail is incredible, and it really feels like we're peering into a living, breathing world in miniature. Now, I'm not gonna lie, by this point of the day, I was extremely hangry, so I rushed through a lot of this part, and it wasn't like one of my favorite parts of the park. Definitely not as exciting as the cavern or the garden maze, but it was still pretty cool since it was included in the admission. So we asked for a recommendation from one of the locals, and we're told to go to the Pink Cadillac Diner just a little up ahead of the road. This is just on the side of a steakhouse that we came to. Okay, I need a drum roll, please, because this next day is a major highlight in the road trip and one of the first activities that we found when researching our trip through Virginia. The Virginia Safari Park is a drive-through zoo where you could see animals from all over the world right up close. And you want to know the best part? You get to drive in your own car through the park.
Can I touch you? Ah, he's so holy shit. Ah, mira.
Oh!
I don't want
Oh, look at that tongue. Oh, God. It's like going on a wild safari right here in Virginia. Back in the spring of 2000, the park owners had a wild idea. They wanted to create a place where people could see amazing animals in their natural habitats. The park supports wildlife conservation in 135 countries globally through financial aid, public education, captive breeding, and habitat preservation. You're encouraged to interact with the animals by feeding them their specialty grain, which can be purchased for $5 a bucket online when you purchase admission tickets. I bought 4 buckets thinking that we would make it to the end with it. Within 1 minute of being inside, 2 buckets completely gone. One robbed and then the other just completely eaten. The experience of having a huge bull elk, ostrich, or bison only inches away feeding from your bucket is virtually impossible to describe. This unique animal experience appeals to all ages and is one of Virginia's top attractions. If you don't feel like driving through your car in your own vehicle, or you're scared that one of the bighorn animals will damage it, you could also take a guided safari bus tour. The llamas are some of the most aggressive eaters I've ever seen. Like, they just throw themselves right in front of the car. They have no cares about their lives. They are like, give me that food.
Oh, the llama good. Right in front of the car.
Look at this.
Right in
You
front,
see,
right in
llamas
front.
have
Look at
no
that.
care. The llamas do not care at
That
all.
one is pretty.
Oh, you got some nasty stuff in your eye. Dude. Oh, he's got a gang with him. I didn't see all the other ones. They're ready to hop out. Ah, esa es la como la otra. If I could offer any advice, it's to load up on as many buckets as you can because they will get stolen, you will run out quicker than you think, and to show up as early as possible. We got there at 10 a.m., but we saw cars arriving even at 4 p.m., and by that time the animals have been fed by so many cars that they're super lazy and they won't come up to your car as frequently. So get those buckets and show up early. After we finished the drive-through portion of the park, we headed over to the walkthrough section, which feels more like a traditional zoo. Here we saw even more animals, including monkeys, tigers, and even kangaroos, which honestly just remind me of Jack Gym Bros. We also got to pet some of the animals and enter the aviary where we fed tons of budgies. Yeah, we got a free stick. Oh, this is her dream. Y'all don't know how happy she is right now. So the budget aviary is really, really cool. They're just flying around everywhere. They're on the floor as well, so you got to be careful where you're stepping. But it's really cool. They go on the sticks. They go on your hand. And look, let me show y'all. They're really just excited to eat. Oh, look at them. These two are fighting right here. Look, they have no fear. They're just on my legs right now. One of them is biting my ankles. I took his stick and now he's mad. Now he's real mad. Look at this. Oh, man. Yo, homie, I got the stick right here. Hold up. You can get them on your stick pretty quickly. Hi. Overall, our trip to the Virginia Safari Park was an unforgettable experience, and if you're ever in the area, I highly, highly recommend checking it out. So it's pretty hard to top a day like that, but the excitement of our road trip was not over yet. The next day brought us to Grayson Highlands State Park. Yo, the next stop of the trip, if you can see behind me, there's a pony, meaning we are at Grayson Highlands State Park. We finally made it to some hiking and some nature. Grayson Highlands State Park is a beautiful natural wonder located in the southwestern region of Virginia. The park is known for its breathtaking views, stunning landscapes, and most importantly, the wild ponies. If I turn around, you'll see a bunch of them just chilling, literally just sitting there relaxing. So this trail leads to the Appalachian Trail and it connects to that, and then you can see a bunch of wild ponies just hanging out. It's really, really cool to see them just in their nature. Up until this trip, I honestly had no idea that wild ponies even existed, that they were just out here like that, but it's really, really cool. It's a little windy, it's a little breezy, but they don't seem to mind, so hey, be hiking. Here, visitors can explore over 4,500 acres of rugged mountains, rolling hills, and pristine forests. It really feels like you're in like a tropical place. It's also home to the highest peak in Virginia, Mount Rogers, which towers over 5,700 feet tall. The wild ponies in the park are friendly and super chunky. They roam freely throughout the park, where visitors can often find them grazing in the open fields. I gotta show y'all just how big this one is. She is most certainly pregnant. I guess that's why she just be eating and eating it. Look at that belly. We saw her from behind and she is humongous. She is ready to give birth. We've seen a couple of them that are pregnant now, so there's some male horse out here just dropping dick. We must have come here around a good time because right now they're eating. This is about what, like 2 p.m. in the afternoon. So if you come, make sure you come when they're not so sleepy and well fed. You know, get here while they're munching and munching and munching. For outdoor enthusiasts, the park offers over 13 miles of hiking trails, including the famous Appalachian Trail, which passes through the park. Yo, so we found this amazing, beautiful waterfall on the hike, and there is nobody here, so we're gonna take some time to eat our lunch here with nobody around us. We found this big rock, and it's super, super cool here. It's super peaceful. And there she is. We got lucky that it's Easter because everybody's home with their families. And since we don't got no kids, we here.
Celebrating.
Yeah, exactly. So we got lucky that it's Easter and there's not a lot of people here. So we got the whole place to ourselves. And I'm excited to eat these Subway footlongs. Put that footlong in my mouth. Now, this is always the worst part of traveling anywhere. The final days of the trip, where you gotta start focusing on getting back home. If you venture too far into a road trip, eventually there's gonna be a day that's just full of driving, and those are never fun. Our final destination before heading back to New York was Ocean City, Maryland. We had to drive like 6 hours between Lynchburg, Virginia and Ocean City, but thankfully we had each other to split up the trip. We spent our last day chilling in the Aloft Hotel, which is beautiful and offers a ton of great perks for those staying. We got to see a great view of the sunset over the bay, and in the morning we still had some time to go and explore the boardwalk before heading back to New York City. This road trip was definitely something I really needed. It's important to get out of New York City every now and then, and as much as I love all of the cultural events that I get to cover and all the fun activities and diversity that the city brings, sometimes it can get really, really overwhelming and stressful, and you just need to break out of it all. You know, get into some nature, breathe some fresh air, do some hiking, and see the world outside of the concrete jungle. Before this trip, I was feeling some anxiety about turning 30 and where my life is currently at. I think sometimes in society we put way too much pressure on accomplishing things before a certain age, and we value youth so much that it often feels like there's a ticking time bomb just waiting, and if you don't quote-unquote make it before a certain age, then you've missed the ship. Turning 30 was making me feel this way because in one way or another, I've been creating content since I was like 17. Albeit throughout many parts of my life, I wasn't really taking it as serious as I should have. However, making content for this long and now hitting this new decade, I started feeling like, what if I'm just not good enough? What if this isn't for me? And sometimes I get the feeling that if I'm not working on myself 24/7, I'm wasting time, and that there'll come a time where I have to say, I give up, this isn't for me. But taking this trip definitely reinvigorated my love for content creation and gave me a newfound focus. I came back to New York City feeling super pumped to work on everything I filmed on the trip, and I know that everyone grows at their own time. Some make it before 18, others don't make it until their 40s. So I really gotta work more on not comparing myself to others that I see around me who are accomplishing so many great things, and just focus on making the best content that I possibly can. This trip was definitely something that I needed, and I hope that y'all enjoyed sharing this moment with me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.